Hello everyone, welcome back to Oni-chan. At this moment, Luffy has been defeated by the Emperor Kaido. Unexpectedly, at this moment, Luffy's heart starts pounding, sounding like a drum, making Zunesha recall past memories. He said to Momo, "Do you hear the sound of the drum?" For the first time in 800 years, it has finally come. While Luffy was beginning to transform, Momo asked in confusion, "Who is he?" "It's Joy Boy, he has returned." Luffy has also regained consciousness at this moment, and his hair has changed to white. He doesn't understand how he can still stand up. Clearly, I have already lost. Suddenly, Luffy feels very happy, and he bursts into laughter. While the tremendous power within Luffy continued to radiate, he underwent a complete transformation. His hair and clothes turned white. Sanji also sensed an immense surge of strength coming from Luffy, and everyone could feel it too. Luffy is still alive. At this moment, Luffy continued to laugh while looking at the moon. The 5 elders of the world government realized that their efforts to prevent the awakening of Luffy's devil fruit power were in vain. It turns out that the Gomu Gomu no Mi devil fruit, which the world government has been fiercely protecting, and hidden for over 800 years, it is not an ordinary paramecia-type devil fruit. It turns out it is a mythical zone-type devil fruit, named Hito Hito no Mi, model Sun God Nika. It has a body similar to rubber. When active, it can grant its owner the ability to fight freely. While Luffy is still fascinated with his new state, Hiyori is playing a tune for Orochi to listen to. Realizing that he is about to be killed, Orochi shamelessly begs for forgiveness from Hiyori. However, after all the atrocities he has committed against her country, even harming her own father and family, Hiyori cannot find it in her heart to forgive him. Suddenly, Kanjuro's fire-breathing monster appears, notifying Orochi that the plan has failed. Unexpectedly, the fire-breathing creature loses control and incinerates Orochi. While Luffy is enthralled by his new state, he feels like he can accomplish anything, even turning the ground into rubber. This newfound power of mine. This is Gear 5. At this moment, Luffy keeps leaping around and laughing like a madman. He unleashes his Conqueror's Haki, striking Kaido and leaving him bewildered by this overwhelming power. Luffy immediately jumps up and inflates his arm even further. While Kaido is still confused about what is happening, suddenly, Luffy's hand shot forward, grabbing Kaido like a worm and pulling him up into the sky. Everyone watching realized that Luffy was back. He immediately flexed his muscles and landed a powerful punch straight into Kaido's face. He could even lift Kaido up, spin him around, and continuously knock him down, causing Kaido's head to spin in confusion. While Luffy was still laughing happily, Kaido became furious. "You're still alive, Straw Hat?" As Kaido was about to shoot fire at him, but Luffy moved swiftly, even being able to grip the ground like rubber and bounce back Kaido's attack. He turned into a burnt dragon. At this moment, Kaido realized he needed to apologize to that CP0 agent. Without him, Luffy wouldn't have awakened his devil fruit power. Kaido was delighted to have a rematch with Luffy. Meanwhile, Luffy said, "It's time to decide the winner." Suddenly, Kaido became curious about why Luffy was still alive, and why everything around him had turned into rubber. So he realized that Luffy's devil fruit had awakened. Clearly, it exhibited characteristics of a paramecia-type devil fruit, but it seemed to resemble a zone-type devil fruit. So, Kaido lunged at Luffy and bit him, causing Luffy to inflate his muscles even more in an effort to escape. But he was still swallowed by Kaido. At first, it seemed like Luffy might be turned into Kaido's digestive product. Surprisingly, Luffy was comfortably playing and attacking Kaido from within. He even inflated his body, turning Kaido into a round ball, making Yamato and Momo surprised. They couldn't understand why Kaido appeared so round. At this point, Kaido was wondering why his body felt like rubber. Luffy noticed a light ahead, so he reached out and pierced through Kaido's 2 eyes, to force him to release Luffy. Finally, Luffy managed to escape from Kaido's mouth. As Yamato and Momo got closer, they saw that Luffy had turned into a giant. He was about to kick Kaido down to the ground, but Kaido managed to dodge and lunged at Luffy to bite him. Unexpectedly, Luffy grabbed Kaido by the neck and started playing jump rope with him, so Kaido shot flames at Luffy to break free. Even though he was burnt black, Luffy showed no signs of giving up, and he continued to charge at Kaido. Kid-in-law, down below, realized that Luffy had to win this battle for everyone to have a chance to survive. So, everyone placed their hopes on Luffy. At that moment, when Luffy was about to charge and attack Kaido, unexpectedly, he rushed forward and appeared in front of Luffy, delivering a powerful blow that sent Luffy's head crashing down below the castle. causing everyone to startle. That giant is Luffy, isn't it? So, Luffy had returned to his normal size. Kaido noticed that Luffy was exhausted. Suddenly, Luffy's Gear 5 disappeared, causing Luffy's face to sag like an old man's. Surprisingly, Kaido also reached his limit and slumped down. But Luffy stood up again and said, "It's not over yet." At this moment, Luffy remembered the sacrifices of everyone, so he activated Gear 5 again. Exciting Kaido, Luffy felt his heartbeat resurge, and both of them continued the battle. Kaido immediately charged and struck Luffy's head. His mace stuck right into Luffy's head, but no matter how he attacked, Luffy remained completely unharmed, thanks to his rubber-like properties, leaving Kaido utterly perplexed. As Luffy fought with complete freedom, so Luffy charged forward, delivering a powerful punch to Kaido's head, sending him soaring into the mountain. While Luffy was happily contemplating a name for his new technique, Kaido had regained consciousness and asked, "Who are you, in the end?" Luffy replied, "I am Monkey D. Luffy. I will become the Pirate King." This infuriated Kaido immensely because Luffy had continuously thwarted his plans, including the defeat of his closest subordinates, Queen and King, by Sanji and Zoro. Therefore, Kaido was determined to defeat Luffy. So, Kaido charged at him, but none of his attacks had any effect on Luffy. Luffy promptly coiled his body and launched a continuous barrage of punches at Kaido, which left Kaido starting to feel exhausted. Suddenly, Luffy noticed the massive fire raging below the castle, but he still had faith in his comrades, and he remained focused on defeating Kaido. Inside the castle, Chopper was extremely worried about everyone because they couldn't find anyone. However, Nami and Otama were determined not to give up. On the other hand, Brook and Robin were surrounded by flames, while Jinbei and Raizo were brainstorming ways to extinguish the fire. Sanji was protecting the girls. Usopp was also trying to put out the fire, but their efforts seemed to be in vain. Frankie was carrying Zoro and running away. At this moment, Raizo and Jinbei found a way to extinguish the fire. It turned out that on Zou Island, Zunisha had sprayed a massive amount of water onto its back to take a bath. So Raizo had stored all that water inside his ninja technique scroll, and he released all the water. Jinbei used Fishman Karate to control the water and put out the fire throughout the castle. Thanks to this, everyone was saved, while Yamato was forcing Momo to lift the entire island. Otherwise, all the people would be in grave danger, because Kaido's flame clouds were gradually disappearing. As for Luffy, he had jumped straight into the sky. He immediately grasped a bolt of lightning as his weapon to attack Kaido. Momo realized that the island was about to fall, so he tried to create flame clouds. But Momo kept failing repeatedly. Suddenly, he remembered his mother. When the entire castle was being engulfed in Kaido's flames, Momo's mother had always believed in him and the 9 red scabbards to rescue Wano country. Even though, at that time, Momo was just a child. But seeing the trust of everyone in him, Momo decided to join Kinemon's group in traveling to the future. So at this moment, Momo had regained his determination. Suddenly, the island's descent speed increased. It turned out Luffy was engaged in a fierce battle with Kaido, directing bolts of lightning at him. He even moved at incredible speed, leaving Kaido overwhelmed by Luffy's strength. So he immediately swung a mace to knock Luffy away. But Luffy remained unharmed, and swiftly returned to attack Kaido. When Kaido shot flames to knock Luffy away, he immediately used the lightning like rubber, creating elastic force and rebounding straight at Kaido. But Kaido continued to block it. Suddenly, Luffy gathered all the lightning together, continuously striking Kaido's head. Surprisingly, Kaido swiftly moved and attacked Luffy. At this point, Kaido believed that relying solely on devil fruits was not enough to dominate the world. But Haki was the most crucial aspect, so he used the Thunderclap 8 trigrams to strike Luffy with an incredibly powerful attack. While the people of Wano still didn't know what was happening, they released many prayer lanterns into the sky. At this moment, Kaido thought he had defeated Luffy, but to his surprise, Luffy was still there. He grabbed Kaido's body and pulled him. So Kaido transformed into a dragon, and he unleashed his entire array of techniques on Luffy, leaving Luffy burnt black. On the other hand, Orochi was still burning, but it inadvertently helped him escape from the sea prism stone nails. So he released his devil fruit power, intending to take Hiyori down to hell with him. Meanwhile, Otoko and the old blacksmith watched as the lanterns floated into the sky. While Luffy was up in the sky, witnessing the hopes of everyone, Hyo believed that Luffy would fulfill his promise. Kaido thought he had defeated Luffy already, but he was surprised to see Luffy reappear once more, dragging a massive fist through the sky. Luffy said to Momo, "Let's save this kingdom together. I believe in you." Yamato was extremely surprised because Luffy's fist had the potential to destroy the entire island of Onigashima. Kaido realized that Luffy wanted a full-scale showdown with him, so he released his full power, enveloping his entire body in flames, and transformed into a true fire dragon. But Luffy didn't back down. He unleashed his massive fist directly at Kaido, causing Onigashima Island to tremble. Seeing Luffy's attack, all the samurai placed their hopes in him. Kawamatsu remembered the day when Oden sacrificed himself to save the 9 red scabbards. Kaido and Orochi had cast a dark shadow over all of Wano country. Even though the samurai had risen up together, they couldn't withstand Kaido's overwhelming power. This left the entire kingdom of Wano engulfed in flames. Since then, the people of Wano had to live in hell, forced into harsh labor, even to the point of not having enough food and clean water to consume, leaving everyone in despair, until one day, Orochi sent them defective devil fruits, causing everyone to lose their true emotions. Even a child had to laugh when their parents passed away. Hiyori was the one who witnessed everything, so this time, she was determined to seek revenge on Orochi. When Orochi released his devil fruit power to attack Hiyori, Denjiro appeared just in time, and officially put an end to Orochi's dictatorship. As for Momo, he saw Luffy's determination, along with the prayer lanterns of the people of Wano. Momo knew that his parents were still watching over him, so it helped him regain his spirit, determined to rescue everyone, while all the samurai prayed for Luffy's victory. While Luffy was putting all his strength into one final attack against Kaido, suddenly, Kaido remembered his past. It turned out that from a young age, Kaido had immense strength, even capable of destroying an entire kingdom, and becoming the mightiest warrior of the Vodka Kingdom at the age of just 10. But due to the uncontrollable nature of Kaido's strength, the king decided to capture him, handing Kaido over to the navy, turning him into the government's hunting dog. At this moment, Kaido realized that the king had used him to secure a seat at the Reverie Conference. So Kaido told Luffy, "I want to build a world ruled by violence because I am the strongest," and Kaido began to acknowledge Luffy's strength, so he shot a fireball that sent Luffy flying back. Kaido continued to say, "No matter how hard you try, you can't change this world." It turns out that when Kaido was captured by the navy, he managed to escape, so he was immediately wanted with a bounty of 70 million belly. But whenever he got hungry and thirsty, Kaido would intentionally let the navy capture him again, and once he was full, he would escape again. So Whitebeard began to take notice of Kaido. Realizing that Kaido, at just 15 years old, possessed the strength of a monster, that's when Whitebeard recruited Kaido as a pirate, and he joined the Rock Pirates. Since then, Kaido became a member of the Rock Pirates, a pirate crew composed of the strongest individuals. But not long after, everyone received news that the Rock Pirates had been defeated by Garp. While Big Mom was extremely furious, seeking Kaido to collect her debt, Kaido decided to split from the Rock Pirates, and form his own pirate crew, a place where he could dominate the world through war and violence. At this moment, Luffy remained determined to win. Luffy immediately increased the power in his punch, causing Kaido to be pushed back. Then Kaido remembered saying to King, "I know who Joy Boy is," while the final CP0 agent was fleeing Wano to report back to the 5 elders. Momo, on the other hand, was cheering for Luffy. He believed that Luffy would definitely win, and upon seeing the prayer lanterns of the people of Wano, Momo was determined to create the flame clouds, to save everyone. Yamato realized that the island was falling. They didn't have much time left. At this moment, Kaido still believed, "In this world, no one can defeat me." While people were still running away from the fire, Raizo and Jinbei's water arrived and extinguished all the flames in the castle. Yamato saw that Kaido's flame clouds had disappeared, causing the island to fall even faster, so she immediately told Momo to create a fire cloud quickly. If not, all the people in the capital would be in danger. But unexpectedly, this time, Momo succeeded in creating a large fire cloud. He wrapped it around the falling island and pulled it back up, while Kaido continued to boast about his strength. Further infuriating Luffy, he suddenly asked Luffy, "What kind of world do you want to create, Straw Hat?" Unexpectedly, Luffy increased his strength even more, making his punch even larger. At this moment, Luffy remembered the determination of all his friends. He said, "The world I want to create is a place where all my friends can eat their fill." Unexpectedly, Luffy's strength blew away Kaido's flames. He then delivered a final punch, a powerful blow straight to Kaido's face, sending him crashing to the ground. At this moment, all the prayer lanterns flew towards Luffy. making Luffy very happy, because he had fulfilled the prayers of everyone. Kaido, on the other hand, remembered telling King that, Joy Boy is the man who can defeat me. In the end, Kaido was defeated. Momo also successfully pulled the Onigashima Island to a safe landing place, while Kaido transformed back into his human form, and fell into the lava pit just like Big Mom. Luffy also reverted to his normal form and fell down. Fortunately, Yamato managed to catch him, bringing great joy to Yamato as Luffy emerged victorious. Not only Yamato, but all the samurai were also filled with happiness, because, at long last, the 20-year-long autocratic rule of Kaido over the land of Wano has come to an end. Even the Straw Hat Pirates were also delighted upon hearing the news of Luffy's victory. But Chopper still couldn't take a break, because he had to treat the wounds of everyone. At this moment, Momo spoke to Zunisha. For now, I won't open the borders of the Wano kingdom. That's why he wants to grow stronger to protect this land himself. Surprisingly, there are still a few of Kaido's soldiers who haven't given up, because they don't believe that a Yonko's pirate crew could be defeated, so Yamato immediately ran to intercept them. Suddenly, everyone felt the ground shaking. The underwater volcano erupted, causing concern among the people in the flower capital. So Momo rushed to reassure them, thinking he was Kaido, which frightened everyone. Then Momo quickly said, I'm not Kaido, and reverted to his human form. At that moment, Hiyori and the 9 red scabbards also appeared. This surprised all the people in the flower capital, because they had thought the 9 red scabbards had died long ago. This made everyone joyful as they remembered Toki's prophecy, that 20 years later, the 9 red scabbards would return. So they immediately live-streamed for everyone in the Wano kingdom to watch. On Frankie's side, when they learned that Yamato is Kaido's child, they were immediately shocked. Suddenly, she announced, I'm joining your crew. This left the entire group even more shocked. At this moment, Otama informed everyone that her taming ability is only effective for a month. So, in a month, the gifters will return to normal. Despite that, Speed stated that she would always consider Otama as her master. At this point, all the members of the 9 red scabbards had knelt down, causing everyone to be curious, not knowing who had appeared. While Otama remembered the hardships she had endured, and Luffy's promise, when we left this country, then, everyone will definitely have enough to eat every day. So Momo declared to everyone, the rule of Orochi and Kaido has come to an end. Thanks to the alliance of the pirates, the Mink tribe, the ninjas, and the samurai. This immediately made everyone overjoyed and shed tears of happiness. Kinemon noticed that Momo was still fearful while standing in front of everyone, but he remembered Luffy's words, so, Momo immediately mustered the courage to declare, I am Kazuki Momonosuke, the one who will become the shogun of this kingdom. This brought tears to the eyes of the 9 red scabbards, for at last, Momo had grown up. On the other hand, the 5 elder stars were surprised that 2 Yonkos had been defeated at the same time, so they realized that this secret couldn't be hidden any longer. 1 week after the battle ended, while Luffy and Zoro were still recovering, the lives of the people had returned to peace. Even the impoverished people had clean water to drink, and they no longer had to worry about food shortages. Suddenly, Hiyori rushed over to inform Momo, Luffy and Zoro have recovered. But the first thing Luffy and Zoro did after recovering was to eat meat and drink sake. They even used their combat skills to eat. At this moment, Yamato and Momo immediately ran over. But Luffy and Zoro didn't know who this guy was. I am Momo. This immediately shocked both of them, because he had grown very tall, when Zoro wanted to challenge him to a fight. So, Momo immediately hugged Nami, but she gave him a slap, because he was no longer a child. As for Sanji, upon discovering that Zoro was always being cared for by Hiyori when he was unconscious, it immediately made Sanji jealous. So, the two of them started fighting. Later, the whole group went to take a bath together. Surprisingly, Yamato went into the men's bath. This immediately caused Sanji's nose to bleed. Meanwhile, Kiku bathed together with Nami's group. At this time, Kid and Law's crew were planning to leave the kingdom, because they knew that sooner or later, the news of them defeating the Yonkos would leak out. Surprisingly, Apu handed Kid a newspaper. Outside the kingdom at this moment, Admiral Ryokugyu was advancing into Wano to capture Luffy's group. On the other hand, the 5 Elder Stars had read Morgan's newspaper, but they couldn't stop him from spreading the information about Wano to the whole world. This immediately shook the entire world, because both Yonkos had been defeated by the pirate alliance of Luffy, Kid, and Law, and the bounties of all 3 also increased to 3 billion belly. Suddenly, after reading the newspaper, Kid became furious and immediately went to find Luffy. While Luffy was still feasting at the festival, making everyone drool with hunger because every dish was delicious. Meanwhile, Robin was off to view the poneglyph stone tablet. Suddenly, the old blacksmith came to find her. Robin realized that he knew a lot of Wano's secrets. So, she immediately asked him who he was. Surprisingly, he was the former shogun of Wano, and he was also the grandfather of Momo and Hiyori. It turns out that since Wano was occupied by Kaido and Orochi, he felt he had no face left to show to everyone. So, he had to wear a mask and work as a regular blacksmith. Suddenly, Robin asked, "Is the ancient weapon Pluton here, right?" This immediately made him jump. "How do you know?" On Kaido's remaining forces side at this moment, King and Queen were currently confronting Admiral Ryokugyu, so, he unleashed the power of his devil fruit, and drained the life force of Kaido's soldiers. He continued to attack King and Queen, despite their attempts to evade, but Queen was struck by him. Even King was easily defeated by him, so, he began to drain the life force of both of them, leaving Queen so weak that he was skin and bones, transforming Queen from a chubby person into a skinny figure. But Ryokugyu's main purpose in coming to this island was still Luffy. While Luffy was still enjoying the feast, Momo remembered when Luffy had just defeated Kaido. He told Momo not to let anyone know that he was the one who defeated Kaido, because the person everyone was waiting for was Momo. Suddenly, Kid became angry and went in search of Luffy. So, Luffy immediately grabbed him to eat together. At this moment, Kid showed Luffy the latest newspaper. This immediately surprised Luffy, because the list of the 4 emperors of the sea had been altered. Besides Buggy, Blackbeard, and Shanks, Luffy had officially become one of the new 4 emperors of the sea. While Ryokugyu was advancing towards the flower capital, wherever he went, the plants sprouted. At this moment, red-haired Shanks had arrived in Wano. While Luffy's group was still happily feasting, suddenly, the 9 red scabbards felt the presence of a dangerous intruder approaching, so they immediately rushed to stop him. Realizing that this person was an enemy marine of Luffy, they all teamed up to attack him. Surprisingly, Ryokugyu was too powerful and continuously gave the 9 red scabbards a hard time. So, he unleashed the power of his devil fruit. It turns out that Ryokugyu was eating the devil fruit known as the forest human. At this point, he had transformed into a giant tree human, and immediately attacked all of them. But no matter how they struck him, he could still regenerate. Suddenly, Yamato appeared, and immediately gave him a blow to the head. On Shanks' pirate side, they were very joyful, because they learned the news that Luffy had become one of the 4 emperors, and he saw Luffy awaken the devil fruit power, Nika, which reminded Shanks of the time he stole the devil fruit from the world government. After that, he went to Luffy's windmill village, so Luffy inadvertently ate that devil fruit. He even sacrificed one of his arms to save Luffy. At this moment, it was not just Yamato who arrived to stop Ryokugyu. Momo also immediately ran to block him. He was about to shoot fire at him, but it got extinguished. So, Momo rushed to bite him. Surprisingly, Momo was easily caught by him, but he insisted on not letting Yamato join the battle. At this moment, Shanks asked Ben Beckman, "Do you think it's time for us to take One Piece?" On the 9 red scabbard side, they kept on attacking Ryokugyu relentlessly to rescue Momo. But Yamato did not allow Momo to do so. Raizo used fire to attack him, thinking he would be afraid of fire. Surprisingly, Ryokugyu just needed to blow lightly to extinguish the flames. He continued to attack Raizo and drained his vitality. At this point, Ryokugyu had captured everyone, and he immediately punched Momo, forced him to hand over Luffy. Yamato told Momo to ask Luffy for help. But Momo immediately refused. "We won't rely on Luffy anymore. If we can't protect Wano on our own, this land will have no future." But Momo still couldn't produce fire, making him think that Momo was just playing like a child. So Ryokugyu immediately attacked him. Suddenly, Momo heard Luffy's voice. He immediately helped him regain his spirit and shot out a huge flame, blowing away Ryokugyu. This left everyone in surprise, because this blow was as powerful as Kaido's. Surprisingly, Ryokugyu continued to regenerate. When he was about to attack Momo, Shank immediately released his Conqueror's Haki to subdue Ryokugyu. This left him unable to move and revert to his normal form. "Are you the red-haired?" Turns out he felt itchy eyes, because he dared to bully Momo. Realized he wasn't a match for Shank, so Ryokugyu immediately left. Momo also managed to protect Wano. So, Luffy actually saw everything. Jinbei asked, "Whose powerful Haki was that just now?" However, Luffy seemed to recognize that it was Shanks. The next morning, Kinemon and Kiku immediately returned. Upon hearing that everyone had been attacked, as soon as he opened the door, he saw Raizo and Shinobu being treated. Because they had been drained of vitality by Admiral Ryokugyu, the Red Scabbards now realized the terrifying power of a Marine Admiral. Even when they joined forces, they were not a match for him. They also realized that there had never been any enemies targeting Wano before. Because Kaido ruled here, at that moment, Kinemon blamed himself for returning to his hometown to visit his wife, making him unable to fight alongside everyone in time. When Raizo heard that Kinemon's wife was still beautiful, he couldn't help but appreciate it, immediately making him want a wife as well. At this point, Inu and Neko summoned Carrot along with everyone in the tribe, leaving her puzzled about what was happening. Suddenly, Inu asked Carrot, "Do you want to become a king?" Which immediately shocked Carrot, because she didn't know how to be a king. It turned out that Inu and Neko had decided to stay in Wano to protect Momo. So, they wanted to pass on the Makomo King title to Carrot, as she was the only one who had traveled with Luffy's group. Despite her concerns, seeing everyone's support, and remembering her promise to Pedro, Carrot decided to become a strong warrior. So, Carrot agreed. On Momo and Hiyori's side, they met their grandfather again, making both very happy, because they never expected their grandfather to still be alive. It turns out he couldn't save Oden and Wano country. So, he felt guilty when he met Momo and Hiyori, but Momo and Hiyori weren't angry with him at all, because he's their only family. It turned out that the 9 Red Scabbards had all guessed that he was still alive, except for Kinemon, who remained clueless. On Frankie's side, he's quite surprised to hear that the Pluton weapon is in Wano. Luffy recognizes it as the design that Frankie burned at Eni's lobby. Everyone realizes it's a very dangerous weapon, and Robin immediately asks Luffy, "Do you want to take it?" But Luffy declined. Robin doesn't understand why Oden wanted to free it. Suddenly, a girl appears, surprising everyone, not knowing who she is, when they find out she's Shinobu, which immediately shocked the entire group. At this moment, Otama has also become Shinobu's disciple, a female ninja, making everyone very happy. Unexpectedly, outside, Caribou has eavesdropped on everything, and learned that the ancient weapon Pluton is here. While the people of Wano are feeling joyful, Luffy has reached the mountain where Oden is buried, and remembering that Kai's fire had destroyed this place. At this point, the 9 Red Scabbards also arrived, to thank Luffy for everything he's done for Wano country. Thanks to him, Wano has regained peace, but they still mourn the deaths of Ashura and Izo, and they also remember the soup that Oden used to make, making Luffy curious to try it. At this point, Denjiro asks Luffy, "Do you want to leave, don't you?" Recognizing that Luffy wants to depart, they all bow their heads and thank him. Suddenly, Carrot also cries and hugs Luffy, because she too has to say goodbye to everyone and return to her homeland. But Carrot feels very happy, because she got to adventure with Luffy's group. On Zoro's side, he visits Yasui's grave, to drink sake with him. Suddenly, he encounters Otoko, who came to visit her father's grave. It turns out Hiyori also arrives. At this moment, she notices that Zoro is also preparing to leave, and she says, "I will miss you a lot." But Zoro thinks Hiyori wants to reclaim the Enma sword. So, he recalls the battle with Kaido, because the power of this sword can injure Kaido, making him remember the fight with Oden. Now, Zoro acknowledges that Oden was truly amazing, as he could fully control this sword. Therefore, Zoro decides he must become even stronger. While Luffy's group is still saying goodbye to everyone, Luffy is eating red bean soup with Otama. Seeing Otama enjoying the meal, he is very happy, because now Otama can eat until she's full. Suddenly, Otama feels sad, realizing that Luffy is about to leave, but Luffy says, "I will never forget you," making Otama very happy. So, Luffy decides to leave. Otama sees the image of Ace within Luffy. The next morning, Momo sees that his country has returned to peace, making him feel relieved. When Momo decides to go find Zoro to learn swordsmanship, he discovers that everyone has disappeared. So, Momo becomes worried and runs off to find everyone. But searching everywhere, they still can't find them. At this moment, Hiyori tells Momo that Luffy and his group have said their goodbyes and left. Even Kinemon doesn't know. Turns out Luffy bid farewell to everyone except Momo and Kinemon, making Momo angry. On Luffy's side, they are ready to leave Wano with Law and Kid, but they keep arguing, because they didn't want to depart together. So, Kid takes out a compass to choose different directions for each. Unexpectedly, when drawing lots, Luffy picks the most dangerous direction. Suddenly, Kid informs Luffy that Buggy has become one of the 4 emperors, surprising him, as both Crocodile and Mihawk have joined Buggy's crew, and they formed an organization called the Cross Guild, specializing in placing bounties on the Navy. Before Law left, He gave Kid a copy of Kaido's poneglyph. Kid realized it was time to seriously search for One Piece. But he needed to find someone with a fire scar, surprising Luffy, as he didn't know who has a fire scar. On Momo's side, he is searching for Yamato, while she is still contemplating on the rooftop. So, she makes a decision similar to Oden's. At this point, Luffy's group is ready to set sail. Nami wonders why Luffy didn't say goodbye to Momo and Kinemon, but Luffy believed that both of them would come here soon. Meanwhile, Momo's group is chasing after Luffy. Yamato tells Momo that she won't set sail anymore, surprising Kinemon, because she had once made up her mind to follow Luffy's group, but Yamato wants to be like Oden, exploring Wano before setting sail. At this point, Momo is still angry, wondering why Luffy's group left without saying goodbye to him, because they had many memories together, and fought together in the battle against Kaido, which frustrates him. Determined to find Luffy and challenge him, Kinemon wonders why Momo is not flying. At this point, Law tells Luffy their alliance has been disbanded, and from now on, they will be enemies. So, Law's and Kid's crews leave ahead. Momo has caught up with Luffy by now, making him very angry. He rushes to grab him, and blames Luffy for leaving without informing him. Suddenly, Momo bursts into tears, not wanting Luffy's group to leave. So, Luffy feels Momo is still like a kid. Momo says, "Thanks to you all, I could survive and seek revenge for my parents. So please don't go." At this moment, Luffy told Usopp to give Momo a large piece of fabric, and Luffy says, "Even though you've grown bigger, you're still a weak and foolish kid, but I always see you as my little brother." Momo realizes this is Luffy's flag, and Luffy tells Momo to hang it in Wano and say, "From now on, if anyone dares to cause trouble for my friend, it's the same as causing trouble for us." This deeply moves Momo, realizing that Luffy still sees him as a friend. So, Luffy's group starts to set sail, and they bid farewell to Momo and everyone. Momo kneels down to thank Luffy's group. At this moment, Momo promises Kinemon, "One day, I will surely surpass Oden." On Nami's side, she feels very reassured, because they don't need to go to the waterfall to leave Wano anymore. Suddenly, they encounter Law and Kid. So, Kid mocks both of them, because they intend to go through the official port, the safe route for ordinary pirates. Making Luffy and Law angry, they decide to change direction and go to the waterfall to leave Wano. Now, the three of them are competing again, to see who can go down the waterfall first, which immediately frightened Nami. Meanwhile, Momo is contemplating where he will hang Luffy's flag. On Luffy's side, fortunately, they safely leave Wano. Unexpectedly, Luffy gets hit by Nami, because he played recklessly, endangering everyone's lives. This makes Nami extremely angry. When Jinbei tries to intervene for Luffy, he also becomes frightened by Nami's demeanor, thinking it's Conqueror's haki. At this point, Luffy feels hungry again, and gets hit by Nami once more. Meanwhile, Robin receives a new newspaper, which turns out to be their updated wanted posters. This piques the curiosity of the entire group, wondering how their bounties have changed. Chopper sees that it's only 1,000 berries, which disappoints him, while Nami is wanted for 366 million berries. Musician Brook is wanted for 383 million berries. Next is Cyborg Frankie at 394 million berries, which frustrates him since there's no image of him on the wanted poster. Surprisingly, God Usopp is wanted for 500 million berries, making him scared. Then, Robin is wanted for 930 million berries. As for Sanji, his bounty has increased to 1,032 million berries. When he thinks his bounty is high enough, Jinbei's bounty is even higher at 1,100 million berries. Zoro's bounty has also risen to 1,111 million berries, making Sanji frustrated because his bounty is lower than theirs. So, Zoro mocks Sanji as the fourth-rate guy, making him angry. Meanwhile, Emperor Luffy, with a bounty of 3 billion berries, is still imprisoned. Inside Emperor Buggy's territory, Crocodile and Mihawk have arrived to capture Buggy. Terrifying him, Buggy begs them for mercy. Crocodile wonders why Buggy became the leader, when the Cross Guild organization was founded by him and Mihawk. That's why both of them want to kill Buggy, making him even more terrified. At this moment, Mihawk remembers, when the 7 warlords had just been abolished, and all the navy surrounded his island. While he was getting ready to leave, Crocodile called Mihawk, mocking him, that now he's just an ordinary pirate. Crocodile suggested that Mihawk come to his location, to form an organization to hunt the navy. On Buggy's side, he is also surrounded by the navy. As he attempts to escape, he discovers that navy ships are being sunk, and it turns out Crocodile and Mr. One are attacking the navy. Buggy's underlings assume Crocodile is here to join Buggy's crew, but only Buggy knows that Crocodile is here to collect a debt. After dealing with the Navy forces, Crocodile looks for Buggy to reclaim the money he borrowed from him, because Crocodile needs funds to establish the organization, but since he doesn't have the money, Buggy decides to become a subordinate of Crocodile to work off his debt. Unexpectedly, Buggy's fanatical followers idolize him so much that they design a special poster for him and send it worldwide. This causes people to misunderstand Buggy as the leader. On the side of the Marine headquarters, they realize Buggy is a former crew member of Roger's pirate crew, similar to the red-haired Emperor Shanks, so they evaluate him as a very dangerous individual, and he had 2 subordinates, the former 7 warlords of the sea, Crocodile, with a bounty of 1,965,000,000 berries, along with the world's strongest swordsman Mihawk, with a bounty of 3,590,000,000 berries. The Navy decides to increase Buggy's bounty to 3,189,000,000 berries. He officially becomes one of the new emperors of the New World. While Crocodile is still very angry, Mihawk realizes, if they let Buggy be the figurehead for their group, will allow them more freedom. Crocodile agrees, seeing the logic, so he decides to forgive Buggy, and lets him become the leader of the organization. With Crocodile and Mihawk, the Cross-Guild organization is officially established. On Marco's side, he is hitching a ride on Shanks' ship. When Marco is about to leave, Shanks invites him to join his crew, but Marco still declines and departs. At this moment, Marco remembers when he was in Wano, he saw Yamato refusing to go with Luffy. After the battle with Admiral Ryokugyu, Yamato realized how strong he was, and could easily defeat the Red Scabbards. If it weren't for Shanks' help, they wouldn't have been able to drive him away. So, Yamato decides to stay here to protect Wano. Despite wanting Yamato to join him, Luffy agrees to let Yamato stay and help Momo. Now Marco also says goodbye to Luffy. He recalls the battle at Marineford, where Marco blocked Akainu's punch to save Luffy. So, Luffy expresses his gratitude to Marco. Marco realizes that Luffy has grown up, and Ace would surely be proud of him. Then Marco departs. On Amazon Lily, they have just experienced a battle with the Navy, resulting in Boa Hancock getting injured, but she still hasn't forgotten her desire to marry Luffy. The elder woman realizes that the warlord system has been abolished by the government, so they can't stay on the island anymore. It turns out that a few weeks earlier, the Navy had surrounded Amazon Lily. Therefore, the female warriors on the island join forces to attack them. Kobe then summons the Seraphim to retaliate. Unexpectedly, the opponents are very strong, and with just a slap, they knock away the female warriors. At this point, they realize her appearance resembles Boa Hancock entirely. When the Navy thinks this battle will be easy, unexpectedly, behind Blackbeard's pirate ship appears. So, he uses his shockwave powers to attack the Navy. Now, Blackbeard and his crew have landed on the island. It turns out that his main target this time is Boa Hancock's devil fruit. But the Navy continues to obstruct Blackbeard, even though they know he is one of the 4 emperors. So, Blackbeard continues to use the power of the shockwave fruit, and defeats the Navy. At this point, Kobe realizes that Blackbeard is trying to capture Boa Hancock, so he immediately requests Boa Hancock to surrender and follow him. However, as the pirate empress, Boa Hancock will never surrender. On Blackbeard's side, he has defeated all the Navy forces. Unexpectedly, there is a Seraphim, similar to Mihawk, who is very strong, and has defeated Blackbeard's subordinates, surprising Blackbeard. The Seraphim then rushes to attack Blackbeard. At this moment, Blackbeard realizes that this Seraphim is a new type of pacifista. Seraphim Mihawk delivers a powerful strike, pushing back Blackbeard and cutting through an entire mountain. However, Blackbeard still stands up, so Seraphim Mihawk continues to attack him. Blackbeard then uses the powers of the dark fruit to restrain Seraphim once again. At this moment, Boa Hancock steps forward, captivating everyone with her beauty. She then turns all of them into stone. Unexpectedly, both Seraphim continue to attack, so Kobe tells them to stop. Suddenly, Boa attacks Kobe. He realizes he can't dodge in time, but Blackbeard immediately catches Boa Hancock. It turns out Boa's bounty is 1,659,000,000 berries, while Blackbeard's is 3,996,000,000 berries. Now, Blackbeard realizes, all of his crew members have been turned into stone, while Kobe is unsure of what to do. As Blackbeard's power completely overwhelms him, Blackbeard says, "I want your power," but Boa replies, "This power must go hand in hand with beauty. If I die, your subordinates will forever be stone." And even if he gains this power, he cannot undo it. Although Blackbeard wants Boa's devil fruit, he still wants to save his comrades. So, he requests Boa to undo her ability. Koby also realizes that if Blackbeard kills Boa, everyone will forever turn into stone. Suddenly, Blackbeard thanks Koby for the incident at Rocky Port, because, thanks to him, he gained control of Hachinosu Island, the place where the Rocks pirates were formed. At this moment, Blackbeard knows that even if he releases Boa, she won't revert everyone back to normal. He understands that by releasing Boa, she will instantly turn him into stone, so he decides to kill Boa, even sacrificing his own crew members, making Koby worry. Suddenly, Rayleigh appears, and he releases the Conqueror's Haki, surprising Blackbeard. Unexpectedly, Rayleigh is present here. Sorry, Hancock, I'm late, Rayleigh says as he draws his sword, and releases a tremendous Conqueror's Haki, making Blackbeard also feel terrified. Suddenly, Rayleigh told Boa to remove the stone cursing ability from everyone. He instructed Blackbeard to leave the island immediately. In the end, Blackbeard agreed to leave. At this point, Boa and everyone else were safe, but she still constantly remembers Luffy. Thanks to Rayleigh, Blackbeard left. It turns out that Shikayaku, the former queen of Amazon Lily, is also here. Now, Rayleigh says that if he were to fight Blackbeard in a match, it would be challenging for him to win, because he is already old. Rayleigh realizes that the Seraphim are the new weapons replacing the warlords, and they notice that one of the Seraphim looks exactly like a young Boa. On the Marine side, they received news. Lieutenant Koby was kidnapped by Blackbeard. On the Revolutionary Army side at the moment, Koala is very worried about Sabo, because he has gone missing during the Reverie Conference, and is suspected of assassinating King Cobra of Arabasta. This has everyone on edge, but they all believe he wouldn't do such a thing. At this moment, Dragon believes Sabo will be okay. However, if he indeed killed the King of Arabasta, Dragon won't forgive him for any reason. Surprisingly, Kuma is also here, but he has lost all his sanity, and is now just a mindless machine following orders. Suddenly, they receive a call from Sabo, prompting the naval forces to eavesdrop on their conversation. Sabo says he's still okay. On Luffy's side at the moment, he also receives news that Sabo has killed Vivi's father, leaving him in disbelief, because Luffy is certain that Sabo would never do such a thing. Robin is well aware that the Revolutionary Army's enemies are the world nobles, not the kings, so everyone begins to worry about Vivi, as they don't know where she is now. Therefore, Luffy decides to immediately return to Arabasta, but Zoro says going there won't help, because Vivi has gone missing in Mary Joieuse. So, Luffy decides to head to Mary Joieuse. Immediately, Caribou, who was hiding nearby, becomes anxious. Zoro promptly advises Luffy to stay calm, because they are currently facing the entire Marine fleet. At this moment, everyone remembers how King Cobra was once very kind to them. Meanwhile, Nami is deeply worried about Vivi, and everyone is puzzled about why such a situation has occurred in the kingdom of Arabasta during the Reverie Conference. So, Luffy's group wants to rescue Vivi and Sabo. Zoro immediately stops them and asks Luffy, "What did you say when Ace got into trouble?" It turns out Luffy had said, Ace has his own adventure. Therefore, Zoro tells everyone not to underestimate Vivi, believing she can overcome this on her own. When the time comes to fight, they will fight together. Unexpectedly, everyone scolds Zoro for being a devilishly stubborn person, which made him furious and mock Sanji as being ranked 4th. So, the two of them continue to fight. At this point, Robin continues to inform everyone. The world government abolished the system of the 7 warlords. So, they have established the Cross-Guild organization, to hunt down the Navy, and Buggy the Clown is the leader of that organization. Meanwhile, Luffy still has full trust in Sabo, and shares the promise of the 3 brothers with everyone. Sabo wants to write a book about the world, while Ace wants to become a famous pirate, that everyone has to acknowledge him. It's Luffy's turn to reveal his dream, surprising and amusing everyone, because they consider it an absurd dream. But Luffy says, if I become the Pirate King, I can make it happen. And he has only shared his dream with Shank, Sabo, and Ace. But they all laughed at him. At this moment, Jinbei can't help but laugh. He finds his captain very amusing. But first, Luffy needs to become the Pirate King. Only then can this dream be realized. And they just need to find one more poneglyph, then they will arrive at Laugh Tale. But Robin says, that particular poneglyph is the hardest to find, because no one has found it yet, so they have no leads. But the whole group doesn't give up, determined to find it. On the side of the entire navy at this moment, they are eavesdropping on the Revolutionary Army's conversation with Sabo through hacking. but they can't locate his position. Meanwhile, the journalist Morgans is very pleased, because the new generation has defeated Kaido and Big Mom, officially becoming the new emperors of the sea, along with many recently hot news, making him excited to spread worldwide. At the Holy Land Mary Joieuse, the five elders are also eavesdropping on Sabo's phone call, and learns that he is hiding in the kingdom of Lulusha, inside the castle of the Holy Land. At this moment, a very mysterious figure appeared, known as Imu-sama. While Sabo has told everyone, he is not the one who assassinated King Cobra, making everyone happy. However, Sabo has discovered a secret in Mary Joieuse. Now, in the kingdom of Lulusha, suddenly, all the people can sense something massive appearing in the sky. While Sabo is informing everyone, inside the Pangaea castle in the Holy Land Mary Joieuse, there is an empty throne for the World King. Suddenly, the five elders immediately ordered the Marines to cut off Sabo's communication, before he could reveal the secret of the empty throne. So, the five elders decide to erase Lulusha, to eliminate Sabo. Suddenly, bright rays start appearing in the sky continuously, and begin to obliterate the entire kingdom. In an instant, the entire kingdom disappears. Sabo's connection with everyone is also severed. On Luffy's group side, they are advancing into an extremely cold sea area. The waves here are very strong enough to blow away sea monsters. But thanks to Jinbei's navigation skills, they can navigate through the icebergs. Nami notices an island nearby. At this moment, Luffy sees something strange, so he asks Nami. Jinbei recognizes it as a massive warm water vortex, making everyone worried. When Jinbei intends to avoid it, Luffy discovers someone inside. Sanji recognizes her as a girl. Zoro decides to cut the massive vortex with a single sword strike. With one swing, he splits the giant vortex into two, and causes it to disappear. Suddenly, Chopper is swept away by the wind. So, Luffy quickly catches him. But he also gets swept away. Unexpectedly, Bonnie is blown up from under the sea. So, Luffy catches her too. Now, Bonnie continuously warns them that there is a sea monster below, making everyone frightened. Unexpectedly, it turns out to be a giant shark, intent on swallowing Luffy's ship, causing everyone to worry. But thanks to Jinbei's ship handling skills, so, they manage to escape from the shark's mouth. At this moment, they realize it's a mechanical shark. Unexpectedly, Luffy falls into the sea. So, Jinbei immediately jumps in to rescue him, and entrusts Sunny to Frankie. Seeing that the mechanical shark still intends to attack them, Frankie uses a new skill of Sunny called Ship's Bottom, boosting Sunny's speed significantly. Unexpectedly, the shark can shoot torpedoes, causing Sunny to flip and sink into the sea. While Jinbei is still trying to save Luffy's group, when he surfaces, Sunny is nowhere to be seen. Now, the shark continues its attack. So, Jinbei holds all three and runs away. But he was also swept down by the current. On the other hand, the others were sinking into the sea, making them unable to breathe. So, the shark continued to attack and swallow them all. Unexpectedly, a robot appeared, and immediately defeated the giant shark. Frankie realized that if they continued to sink like this, everyone would die. On Tashiji's side at this moment, she is taking care of the giant babies, to help them return to their normal size, because these giant children are all the giant experiments of Caesar at Punk Hazard. But thanks to the alliance of Luffy and Law, they were able to defeat Caesar and save these children, and handed the children over to Tashigi for care. On Helmeppo's side, he is pleading with the Vice Admiral of the Navy here, asking him to help rescue Kobe. But Kobe has been captured by Blackbeard and taken to his territory, and that place is very dangerous, so, they didn't have the strength to help him. But Helmeppo doesn't give up, trying to persuade them to save Kobe. On Luffy's group side, Jinbei has brought them ashore, but he doesn't remember who Bonnie is, making Bonnie angry, because he, too, is from the worst generation but doesn't recognize her, despite Luffy being one of the emperors. Bonnie sees him as just a fool. At this moment, Bonnie wonders why Luffy's wanted poster shows white hair, so he explains, "That's my free form." Suddenly, Luffy feels hungry again. When they want to go eat, Bonnie immediately warns them that this island is called Egghead, belonging to the world government, and this place is the laboratory of Dr. Vegapunk, considered to be 500 years ahead of the world. Surprising Luffy, it turns out Bonnie came here to find Vegapunk. On Zoro's group side, they have been rescued by a giant robot, surprising everyone. Suddenly, a girl appears from inside the robot. It turns out that the robot shark was programmed by her, but it malfunctioned. While everyone didn't know who she was, she said, "I am Dr. Vegapunk." Today's video ends here. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support Oni-chan in the upcoming videos. Thank you all for watching. Love you always.